Welcome back to the Gambling with Gold podcast. My name is Jason Gold, and as always, I am joined by my friend from the Action Network, Dan Titus. How are we doing today, Dan?
Doing good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This is episode 9. We're going to do this pretty quickly. We actually are recording 2 of these tonight, so stay tuned for those on Spotify. First one up, we're going to do season-long player props, our 5 favorite, and then we're going to break down the Bucs and the Cowboys opening night on Thursday. Can't wait for that game to get started. Before we do that, Champions Round, there are 3 products that are available right now. 7 stakes contests up and live. Boost Ball is up and live, and so is the Captain Contest. Go ahead, go and join those. If you use the promo code BOOST, you'll get $20. Go play a game for free, win some money. Also, we're giving away a Christian McCaffrey and Devontae Adams signed jersey. You see, you got a Devontae behind you. I don't know if that one is signed or not, but we are giving away 2 of those. On Champions Round, all you have to do is go to the Champions Round Instagram, go and follow, and then download the app, and that makes you eligible to get one of those. We will be giving away those live on Thursday before the game on our Instagram. We're going to do an Instagram live with predictions and a giveaway before the game kicks off at 5:20 Pacific time on Thursday. So with that being said, let's jump into the pod. Dan, season-long props, something that we all love gambling on, some of my favorite things to do. Especially when I'm in Vegas, toss a little money and forget that I even have the tickets. Remember where to find the tickets in February if they become winners. Yeah, that's always the problem. Make sure to take your pictures, folks, if you're going to do that in person. All right, so let's go. We're each going to give our 5 favorites. So I'll let you start with your number 1 season-long prop pick.
Yeah, I think I teased this last time when we covered the NFC, but I really love Jalen Hurts' rushing prop at 574.5 yards. I saw it as high as 655 at DK. So to me, this is just tremendous value for a guy that, in 3 games and 4 starts last season, he had 272 yards combined. So I think if you extrapolate this over the course of 17 games, I think there's just huge upside in a Nick Sirianni offense that doesn't have a ton of weapons on the outside. With a pretty good offensive line, I think that there's going to be plenty of room for Jalen Hurts to rack up plenty of rushing yards, and he's going to be one of the better mobile quarterbacks that we have in the NFL this season. I have him slotted right behind Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and then we're going to have Jalen Hurts right there. So if you're playing fantasy football, still drafting, I think he's extremely good value as like the 7 to 10 range for a quarterback, just given his mobility and upside there. I think he's going to smash over this. I think we could see him get north of 700 rushing yards this season.
Is there any concern that Gardner Minshew, now being the backup, is going to end up playing for the Eagles this season, or do you think they're going to rock with Hurts for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think the only concern there is who's going to have the best mustache come November. But yeah, I think this is really, I think it's a good move for the Eagles. It's low risk. Obviously Jacksonville was going a different route. Minshew wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to be a viable backup. But I think if the Eagles, this is really the wait and the prove it deal for Jalen Hurts. If he doesn't work out, they're probably going to draft another quarterback next year. And then in the meantime, you can have Gardner Minshew kind of bridge the gap there. So I think it's a very low-risk option for somebody that they're probably expecting to rush a little bit more, probably has a little bit more risk there just because of the mobility. But I think it's just a solid backup deal.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm all over the Hurts over rushing yards here.
Yes,
we talked about where my projection was. It's way over. I've drafted him in quite a few leagues in the 8th, 9th round. So, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more here. I'll definitely take the Hurts over. The only concern, and, kind of goes with all of these season-long player props, if you're betting the overs, is just injury. Sometimes you're just going to lose bets because guys get hurt. But if he's healthy the entire year, I actually think that he could miss a game or 2 and probably still rock over this pretty easily. Yeah, I think that I have him like 850 rushing yards, something like that. All right, my number 1 here, Adam Thielen, under 9 touchdowns for the season. This is all just a play on touchdown regression. He had 14 last year. He didn't get that many red zone targets. He was I think he scored 12 of 18 red zone targets were touchdowns. So that's going to come way down this year. You have Justin Jefferson there. And it's kind of weird that, for the great season that Dalvin had last year, that he wasn't scoring more touchdowns in the red zone. He could have easily had probably over 20 last year. I don't think that's going to quite happen this year. I think they'll spread it out around a little bit more. But I think Thielen under 9 touchdowns is close to a lock for me.
Yeah, 14 touchdowns overall last season. I think we're going to see an uptick in Justin Jefferson having more opportunities to score touchdowns, as well as, Irv Smith is going to be out for the season. So it's going to be interesting how Tyler Conklin's going to slot in there, along with BC Johnson also being out for the season. So the Minnesota Vikings are extremely thin at wide receiver. I just don't see Adam Thielen scoring over 10 touchdowns this season. I've seen it as high as 9.5. So the fact that you got 9, I mean, it's still in the same ballpark, but either way, I'm taking the under here as well. I don't foresee him getting double-digit touchdowns.
Well, I got to shop around for that 9.5. All right. What's your second one up?
Second one up, I got Jerry Jeudy over 65.5 receptions. I think this is a really good spot for Jerry Jeudy. Obviously, Cortland Sutton's coming off a torn ACL, so we still don't know if he's 100%. Reports in camp have been positive, but I'm not banking on Cortland Sutton to be the wide receiver 1. I think this is Jerry Jeudy's job to lose. He's one of the top year 2 breakout candidates at the wide receiver position. He had 52 receptions last year in only a limited amount of time, and he was playing with one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL in Drew Lock in terms of accuracy and just the frequency of turnovers. I think when we see Teddy Two Gloves in the fold here, he's going to have a really successful season and emerge as the leader in targets once again, as he did last season. Just huge, tremendous upside for Jerry Jeudy, exceptional route runner. Denver is going to try to win. I think that's why they chose Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterback. Their defense is really good, and I really think that this is going to be a great spot for Jerry Jeudy to eclipse probably north of 70 receptions, maybe even 80 if the Broncos are really as good as I think that they can be.
All right. I love that one too. My second one, Russell Gage, over 700.5 receiving yards. I've been all over Gage all offseason. I don't think there's any reason to slow down now. Atlanta's defense is pretty bad. They're going to throw the crap out of the ball. Arthur Smith does not have Derrick Henry in his backfield anymore. He has Mike Davis. They're not going to depend on the run as much. I think the passing game is going to be pretty elite. And I believe, Calvin Ridley is going to get his. Kyle Pitts is probably going to get his. But there's more than enough room for Gage to be in here for over 700 yards receiving. He had over 700 yards receiving just last year on over 100 targets. So I think that continues this season. And I see him as a high-end wide receiver 3 option in fantasy, if not higher. I have him projected somewhere in the low 900 yards over the course of 17 games, which may be a little aggressive, but I'm a big fan of Russell Gage this season.
Yeah, I think Russell Gage is going to definitely have a lot of opportunities. I think Calvin Ridley is probably going to see double coverage quite a bit. Kyle Pitts is definitely going to be moved around in terms of the slot and definitely doing the tight end thing, but I think he's going to be more of a wide receiver. But there should be plenty of opportunities for Russell Gage to contribute this season. I'm a little bit concerned about Arthur Smith coming over there. I think he's going to instill more of a balanced offense, but either way, the Atlanta Falcons still aren't very good. Like, they're not going to be playoff bound, so there's going to be some positive game scripts where you're going to see Matt Ryan likely chucking the ball all over the field like we're used to.
All right, let's move over to your third one.
Yeah, one go back for Jerry Jeudy. For those that are concerned about Teddy Bridgewater being able to handle 2 receivers, obviously last year Robbie Anderson had well over he had 95 receptions last year, and then DJ Moore had 66. So 65.5 is definitely attainable in the 17-game season.
Teddy supported 3 guys last year.
Right. Curtis Samuel as well with another 90-something targets. So definitely there. But I'm going to go with your boy, CeeDee Lamb, over 80 receptions. To me, second in targets last year with 114 in his rookie season, 74 receptions. And to me, I think that Dak is going to be peppering him with targets all season long. Not a fan of Amari Cooper. He's a bit of a boom and bust guy. Gallup is the home run hitter with air yards, but the guy that you can depend on to hit it between the seams and the dump passes, quick slants, it's all going to be CeeDee Lamb. And I think he's going to rack it up similar to Jerry Jeudy. I think he's going to have a great sophomore campaign, and he's really going to hit the ground running, beginning with Tampa Bay. I see his prop at 4.5 for the first game. I think he's going to smash that, probably get more like 6 and 7. He's going to be the focal point of their passing game, and I think he's going to be the biggest upside wide receiver that you're going to have and one of the best aerial attacks in the NFL.
I mean, you don't have to convince me on anything CeeDee Lamb. You can put this prop at 115 reception. I'm like, okay, over. Let's go over. I don't care. So, yeah, I'm definitely down with everything CeeDee Lamb there. My third one, George Kittle, under 82.5 receptions. This is a bank on Trey Lance being in the game earlier than I think probably Vegas expects this to happen. With Garoppolo, I think that he'll he'll probably be on pace for this, but rookie quarterback who runs a lot. That running scheme is excellent. I just don't think that there's the targets to go around with a healthy Ayuk, a healthy Debo around. I don't see Kittle getting this. And also, Kittle has to prove that he's been healthy. He's had one fully healthy season. I'll gladly take the bet that he'll miss 2 or 3 games here, and the under 82.5 in that case becomes an absolute lock. So I definitely love this one.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one either. That's a really solid pick. I love going the unders on a few, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'll get to my under. So actually, I might always go with my under now. Aaron Rodgers under 4,500, 4,550.5 passing yards. And most people are probably not fading Aaron Rodgers in his, Cinderella story. This is going to be the going out campaign, pretty much the last season in Green Bay, storied career there. Obviously won a championship. But honestly, I think 4,550 is a bit overstated. He only did this once in his career, and it was in 2011. So we're talking a 10-year difference here of this guy, potentially putting up one of the best career numbers of his career at 36. And I don't really see that being possible, despite how good this team is. I think we're going to see some regression here, a little bit more attention to detail in terms of the running game. The NFC North is trash, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Green Bay Packers get a lot of positive game scripts where they might be utilizing A.J. Dillon a little bit more, less relying on the pass game. For me, they have the 4th hardest strength of schedule in the league this year, so I think it's going to be a little bit more tough sledding for Green Bay outside of their division, and I'm going to go under here because I think this number is really set at his ceiling rather than his median, so I think it's going to be pretty hard to obtain.
All right, well, I was going to say this for my last one, but I guess I'll bring this up now that you bring up A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon under 690 rushing yards. I'm going under on this one. I don't see it. I don't think that they're going to get away from Aaron Jones this much. 690 rushing yards for a backup running back basically means he has to have it's like 41 rushing yards a game. So imagine that they're running 60 plays a game. That means if he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, he has to average 8 carries a game for the entire season and not get injured. I don't really see that. Obviously, if Aaron Jones got injured, this prop is a lock for over. And I'm sure that they want to use him because of the draft capital that they spent on him. But he was also kind of a plan B for if Aaron Jones didn't get re-signed. Now he is re-signed, right? So I don't think that Dillon's going to be as involved in the offense as maybe people think. I think he's being overdrafted in fantasy drafts also. So I will take the under 690.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, in terms of fantasy value, I think he's probably one of the best handcuffs in the league, and Matt LaFleur did select him over a plethora of wide receiving talent, obviously. So I think that they're going to have a role for him. Definitely going to be in somewhat similar to that Jamal Williams, but may not see as much influence in the game script unless they get ahead and they're just going to be pounding the rock. I think that's a good role for him and potentially in the red zone, but I like the under on 690. So I'm going to go in the stay in the NFC. Alvin Kamara over 1,500.5 scrimmage yards. Really like Kamara. I think he came out today and just partnered with Underdog Fantasy, which is tight, taking that Austin Eckler route of getting in the game. So obviously we're going to be hoping that if anyone that drafted Kamara, he's going to be having our best interest at heart there. So I think he's going to rack up, regardless of what the case may be, this dude's going to have a really good season. I think with Jameis Winston there, there's a lot of concern of Taysom Hill potentially capping his upside there. But with Jameis Winston at the fold, I think he's going to be really good, and there's going to be pounding the rock. Latavius Murray was released today, which was a really big surprise. So I think that they're just shaping up for a big Alvin Kamara season. He's done this in 3 of his last 4 years. He's the focal point of the offense, and the New Orleans offense carries the 11th highest offensive line ranking in the NFL right now. So, fourth in the NFL. So, running behind a good line. I think we'll see more carries out of him. And plus, we already know what he can do in the passing game. 80 receptions in all 4 seasons. He's a beast. Fantasy gold. Let's run it. So, I'm going to take the order on that 1,500.
I'm fully down with that. I also think it's hilarious and amazing that you used a sponsorship deal to prove that Alvin Kamara cares about us and about his fantasy stats. That's a new one. I've never heard that before. I'm fully with that. Champions Rush should start supporting everybody that I have in fantasy. We're going to give everybody deals so that they care about my final statistics.
Take care of us, man. We care too.
That's incredible. All right, last one. Gabe Davis over 650.5 receiving yards. I've been on Davis just like I've been on Gage all offseason. I think that he ends up as the number 2 wide receiver there in Buffalo. I do not believe the Emmanuel Sanders hype. Cole Beasley has his own issues. They don't have a number 1 tight end, really. And this is an offense that throws it more than just about anyone else. I think that Davis is going to be huge in his second season for the Bills. And I have him projected for 837 receiving yards this season. So way over. Obviously, I'm more aggressive on that projection than the rest of the market. That's fine. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm going to bet on Gabe Davis's talent to come through and shine through in Buffalo this season.
I'm with you, man. I took his over 5.5 receiving touchdowns. You couple those two together, I think you're looking at a really solid wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 with upside. I think Gabe Davis is definitely going to be the second most targets on the Buffalo staff here. We don't know what's going to happen with Cole Beasley, assuming that he's unvaccinated and potentially goes into the protocol at some point in the season. But either way, I think he's going to emerge as one of the best wide receivers on that team. And he's just a beast. So I love Gabe Davis this season.
All right, let's move on to Tampa Bay Cowboys preview. I mean, the NFL season's here. Couldn't be any more excited for Thursday night. Should be a good game, although Tampa Bay is now up to minus 9.5 at some places. I've seen it that high. That is a lot of points. Also kind of takes out the teaser potential, which is probably, if we're getting into this, my favorite way to use Tampa Bay. Anywhere around 8, which is kind of where the market is right now. Perfect teaser piece. Use them with anyone else. And this is kind of how the NFL, the best way to gamble in the NFL to me is the 2-team teaser with home dogs that are under 3, bring them above 7. And then favorites at home who are above 7, bring them down below 3. Those are usually great bets. Tampa Bay fits the mold. I think they're going to win this game pretty handily. So that would be my number 1 pick if we're talking about bets on this one.
Yeah, I love the teaser angle, man. And to me, I was trying to – I think you really, for the best value to bet Tampa Bay, you probably should have bet this a few days ago because this number just continues to rise as more bettors from the public come in here and stomp on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their line. This line opened up at 6.5, and now we're seeing it. I've seen it at as high as 8.5. So if you're seeing it at 9.5, it's only going to continue to rise. The game total is sitting at 51.5, and to me, like honestly, I'm probably just going to go player prop route on this one.
Yeah,
because the lines and the markets just aren't really in a favorable condition. Because I could see a game script where Zach Martin's out, obviously for the Dallas Cowboys. They're one of their starting guards, and Dak Prescott really didn't get much play in the preseason due to his shoulder injury. So we don't really know what we're going to see. What I do know is that Tampa Bay's defense is for real. They're returning all of their starters from last season's defense. And going back 16 years, when the reigning Super Bowl champ played in the season opener, the last 16 games, they're 13-3 overall. So history is not going to the favor of the Dallas Cowboys. I really don't know what to make of them. Honestly, their defense isn't that great. Their linebacking core is solid, but I feel like Tampa Bay could get out in front, pound the rock. Maybe we see Tom Brady go off in the first half and then kind of dial it back, control the clock in the second. But yeah, that game total kind of scares me. I could see it being a blowout, or it also could be a pretty much a low scoring affair on Dallas' side, where it's just they're not putting up enough points. So I lean towards the under at 51.5, just because the first game of the season, jitters, Thursday night, all that type of stuff kind of going in the background. But yeah, I think I like your angle the most in going the teaser route.
All right, so if I'm going to do a teaser, the first one that I saw on the board that I want to pair it with would be the Rams, currently around minus 7.5 on Sunday Night Football against Chicago. That's kind of my favorite pairing right now. But for this game specifically, I'm going to run through a list of bets that I have that I like. And I just want your gut reaction to what I'm thinking. All right?
All right, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Tampa Bay, Dallas, under 26 points first half.
I like the under there.
Yeah, so I'm on the under there. Reason being, Tampa Bay comes in. They're going to have this huge celebration. Fans are going to be in the stands. They're going to get all their Super Bowl rings, all that good stuff. Usually there's a little sleepy first quarter on that side.
Little Super Bowl hangover there.
Yeah, and then Dallas hasn't played together at all, and you're going against one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL. I think the defenses this year, a little less COVID-y, are going to come in ahead of the game than the offenses, unlike last year, which was kind of unusual, where the offenses were way ahead of the defenses. So I actually like unders, not across the board, but I think there's a lot more value on the unders in week 1 this year than there was last year. And I think some of the residual points that we saw from last year is kind of baked into these lines. So look for unders this season, or at least early in the season. So yeah, I will go with Tampa Bay, Dallas under 26 first half. First touchdown, which is always one of my favorite degenerate bets that has no logic whatsoever, but they're so much fun. Dak rushing touchdown. I always love the quarterback rushing touchdown, first touchdown one. Always seems like I get good value on those. I don't have
probably
proof
great
of
value.
I don't have proof of those, although I feel like I've been successful in them. Leonard Fournette, and then OJ Howard, because I think that Tom Brady wants to show him off, and he feels bad that he tore his knee up last year, and he's going to throw him a nice, easy touchdown in the first quarter. So I'll go with those 3. OJ Howard, for the record, is plus 2,800, so I like that one a little bit. Dak, over 12.5 rushing yards. I actually think that's my favorite player prop, just because of how good Tampa Bay's front is. I think he might be scrambling for his life a little bit. All it takes is 1 yard or 1 rush for him to get 12.5. So I really like that one. And my last one, Antonio Brown over 4.5 receptions. We know how this goes with the Cowboys defense. At some point, they're going to start targeting either Evans, Godwin, or AB. And I like AB in this matchup against the Cowboys. So that's kind of the board that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I love those. The only ones that I would add to it would be I'm going to take a flyer on – I really feel like Ronald Jones is going to have a pretty good game. I'm going to have him be the first touchdown scorer for the Bucs at plus 550. I like the odds there of maybe, Mike Evans drawing a personal foul or like some kind of pass interference early on, them getting down to like a 3, and then they just hammer it in there. So, but that also could bode well for your
Fournette.
I can see the same. Yeah, I could definitely see the same thing. Right, exactly.
All right. So that does it for this episode of Gambling with Gold. Thank you for joining us. We are going to have a second part of this, episode 10, our playoff predictions and our Super Bowl predictions. So go check that out. Make sure to download Champions Round. Use the promo code BOOST, and you'll get $20 off, and you can join all of these leagues that we have going on. Until then, thanks for joining me, Dan, and we will talk to you later.